What's up guys, welcome back, and in today's video I want to run you through why I think Sarasota, Florida is such a unique and special place to live. So I go through 5 major hitters that I think encompass the multi-county faceted thing. And the first one being location on a map. So Sarasota, Florida is very unique on a map. I think it offers a lot. One of the main reasons I moved back. So we're going to cover that. Number 2, we have a very interesting history of the evolution of hurricane history. I'm going to cover a little bit of that. Number 3, I think the best part of Sarasota is unique in how it is shaped to the state and why that offers some nice options with that. Number 4, I talk about just the diversity of lifestyle options. So for one city of like all the different ways you can live and multi-generational and all the different options you have overall, depending on what you like individually, I think it offers a lot of that. And the last thing I cover, my personal opinion of general differences in pace of life versus all the places I've lived over the last 10 years and how I felt about how this feels every day being back in the city now for about 3 years straight. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you do, and let's get into it. Okay, first up on our list, Sarasota, Florida's location on a map. Okay, this one is definitely one of my favorites. So when I looked at moving, I've hopped around a lot of places in Florida. Said that a bunch of times in the past. I've lived in, I think, 10 cities in Florida. And this one is one of the most special things about this part of the state is just the location on a map. So if you said you could pick one spot to like set your home base, to put your family, and you're transient like myself, you don't want to lose access to everything else, definitely need to pick the southwest coast of Florida, where the panhandle will be kind of on a silo. But if you take where Sarasota sits on the mainland in the middle of the city, it gives you this: 45 minutes this way to St. Petersburg, which is above, an hour to Tampa this way, which is the inland version of Pinellas County, St. Pete, and then really nothing above that. Directly below that, you have an hour 15 minutes to Fort Myers, you have an hour 45 minutes to Naples, and then you have just over a little 3 hours to Miami, 3 hours and 15 minutes straight across to West Palm Beach, and just 4 hours to Jacksonville. So if you pick any of those spots to live in individually, they're further from all the rest. So if you had to pick one spot in totality, I think it's pretty unbelievable overall. Hey guys, just really quick interruption. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. We're very grateful for everyone that's viewing. Please subscribe if you're enjoying it, and please keep a lookout on November 1st. I have something very new and very exciting dropping. Hope you guys enjoy that. Let's get back to the video. Okay, number 2, is Sarasota, Florida hurricane proof? All right, let's talk hurricanes. I'm not going to get too crazy about this point, but I want to mention it because it's quite interesting, I think. So whether it's because of the wives' tale, I don't know, of Florida being blessed land in this portion of the state, or it's the shape of Florida's landmass as it curves, or the atmospheric pressure and the rotation of the earth that pushes these hurricanes. For every reason, there's always 3 hurricanes swirling around. Everything looks like it's going to hit us. All the paths are like pew pew pew, and then for whatever reason, it always skirts us to the south. It goes east across the state, or it curves around north and hits the northern Gulf Coast. And every year I grew up, we boarded the windows, we prepped every year, and it just seems like it's not. It's not random, right? So like there's been a lot of writings on this, a lot of people speculate, and it just like kind of we're due and lucky or whatever. But I did want to mention that it feels like, the kind of fringes that I talk about a lot, Pensacola, even like Naples to the south of us, Miami on the tip, the West Palm Beach and Atlantic coast here, Jacksonville, all these areas are just, it's easier for hurricanes to stay strong and then wipe these. Even New York gets more damage than us. So I did want to mention that I think one of the attractive things, if you had to guess, right, like one of the big reasons I didn't move back to Pensacola was just like, the chance that it happens again is just so high that if I had to pick one space, I think Sarasota could potentially, we have something going for us where it allows for, knock on wood, hurricanes to potentially it be a decent spot to be Gulf Coast proximity with a little bit of a lower risk. Okay, number 3 on our list, Sarasota, Florida's downtown and beach triangle. Okay, the third thing I think is really special about Sarasota uniquely is this, what I basically call is like a magical triangle. So if you look at it on a map, everything that's like in theory, attractive to why people live on this side of the coast. In Sarasota, what's cool is all of it sits in this little like 6 mile square radius where a lot of the towns like the downtown and the beaches are on separate coasts. So you have to pick like, I want to be in the historical district and then I'm going to drive to the beach. So you're basically taking some sort of calculated sacrifice. Sarasota is special and like it's just all of it's really coastal, which is kind of rare in the state of Florida if you go town to town. So what I call the magical triangle is you basically have downtown Sarasota, which is on the north side of town, like if you show a map here, but on the north side of the town here, right? And then you have this street called US 41, which is Tamiami Trail. So you have downtown and this little tiny strip of mainland that's called west of the trail, which is the closest strip of mainland before you're actually on the beaches, because all the beaches are barrier islands over bridges. And then the triangle goes where on one side you go up north west to Lido, St. Armand's, Longboat Key. And then the other side, you go southwest to Siesta Key. So downtown, you sit in the middle of downtown where our office is on Main Street. You're 3.6 miles exactly to Lido Key. So you have Bird Key, Lido Key, St. Armand Circle, Longboat Key. And then you're just 6 miles to Siesta Key. And the special part is basically, one, all the walkability districts in Sarasota, which we do not have a lot, are all in that same district beyond like Lakewood Ranch. So you have downtown. If you don't live in downtown, it's not walkable from everywhere else. And then you have Southside Village, which is that really nice residential district that's west of downtown, not to the beaches. Southside Village is like Perk Coffee and Veronica's and this little walking district. And then you have you're all over the bridge on Lido Key, and that's where you have St. Armand Circle, which is like kind of the figure 8 John Ringling designed upscale beach market. And then if you go south, you have Siesta Key Village, which is more like your eclectic kind of beach village, like how you think of tourism wise. And all of that is in such a close proximity that by just simply going west in town, you have everything. So then you can calculate like, okay, I'm 7 miles, I'm 12 miles, I'm 13 miles. But once you make that drive, you're there, where you're not like trying to figure out how to pick one or the other. So I think all that to say that is unique. If you travel around, you'll see how unique that part of town is. And that's what creates this kind of magical bubble. Moving on to number 4, Sarasota, Florida's unique diversity of lifestyle options. Okay, another thing that's really nice about this area that I think is unique is not just the lifestyle, but the pure diversity of different lifestyles that you can live. So for example, you have, let's take Lakewood Ranch to start. So you have everything, like I mentioned here, is kind of on the west coast, right? So you have downtown and the beaches all in one area. So just about 11 miles northeast of that, just east of the interstate in most cases, you have Lakewood Ranch, right? So how many places in the entire state of Florida have a Lakewood Ranch that sits that close to the major city amenities? So 30 plus communities, arguably the most to do when you leave your individual community than anywhere in the entire state. There's about 3 downtowns with Waterside, Downtown Lakewood, and UTC. And for the cost of that general lifestyle and the schools and all of that to be planted right next to one of the most attractive coastal cities, I think is rather unique. And then you have, let's take downtown Sarasota, number 2. So downtown Sarasota is also really unique. You have, it's upscale but also artsy, right? So it's not necessarily pretentious, but it is like kind of a little uppity up, but in an artistic way because the backing was by John Ringling and the evolution of how it was built. It's got a very artistic culture to it. It's clean, it's nice, it's pleasant. And then all of that sits 3.6 miles from one beach, 6 miles from Siesta Key, and then it's historical, and you have kind of upscale condos, but then you also have historical bungalows in Burns Court and Laurel Park. And then you have the beaches, so they're barrier islands, right? So you're either on the beach or you're not in Sarasota, Manatee County. So I'm overarching this whole video. When I say Sarasota area, I'm including Manatee County as well. So you have, going south, you have Englewood, and then you have Venice Island, which we're gonna talk more about. And then you have the 8 mile end-to-end barrier island of Siesta Key. You have Lido Key and St. Armand Circle, and then you have the very residential 16-mile-long Longboat Key, and then you have Bradenton Beach and Holmes Beach and Anna Maria Island. You have all of this, right? So you can live a very eclectic beach life with very nice rental possibilities in Anna Maria Island or Siesta Key, with villages and pastel colors and just eclectic tourist beach town. And then you could go really upscale residential, single families or condos in Longboat Key, a lot more privatized, a lot more residential feeling. You can live the eclectic, laid-back, older version in historic Venice without a barrier island. So the beach and the downtown are very close to each other, and then you have all the in-betweens to that. All right, and then if you go a little bit south, right? So you have Lakewood, you have downtown, you have the beaches. You go south, then you have, I would combine Osprey, Nokomis, and Venice. So that's below Palmer Ranch and the Sarasota city limits. You branch into a very, very coastal area that's also residential. So about all of this area, when you go south of downtown, it's really hard to get further than 10 miles from the coast. So the shape of Florida goes like this. So the water and the mainland are closer together. So what Venice is basically, in my mind, it's a different lifestyle, right? So downtown Venice is 45 minutes one way to downtown Sarasota on the same coast, both hugging Tamiami Trail and the Gulf of Mexico. This town has its own downtown. Downtown Venice, you have your own downtown, you have your own beaches, Venice Beach, Casperson, Brohard. So Venice Beach is right off the island. Casperson is arguably the shark tooth capital of the world. And then Brohard is one of the only dog beaches in the entire county. So if you're in Venice, you kind of live the Venice lifestyle. But what this is basically like even a slower paced version of Sarasota. So it's very coastal, but it's just kind of blue collar boating feel to me. So that's a whole nother lifestyle that you can live. All I would consider a Sarasota County offshoot. And then a lot like in between all of that, you have kind of the abyss, which especially if you're out of state, it's hard to shop. It's just Sarasota mainland city limit type of thing, right? So the reason that Lakewood Ranch, and it's kind of Lakewood Ranch and the downtown and the beaches, but everything in between, the reason Lakewood Ranch is over here is all of the in between was already built. So you have Pinecraft, which is a full Mennonite Amish still riding the bicycles. You have South Sarasota Palmer Ranch, which is a suburb that was built 20 plus years ago, very mature, mostly resale, 6-7 miles from Siesta Key. You have the university area that's west of Lakewood Ranch. That's kind of in the middle there, not quite to the airport, but all of these resale houses, right? So all in amazing locations, but just more neighborhood to neighborhood versus big gated communities. And then finally, if that's not enough for you, not to belabor this too much, you have Western Bradenton, right? So a lot of people think of Bradenton as not Lakewood Ranch, but all of this is Manatee County above the airport. So Longboat Key splits in half, you go up and over. All of that's kind of Bradenton, Manatee County. Everybody thinks of Lakewood. And then you have Western Bradenton, right? So hugging Anna Maria Island, there's a downtown Riverwalk, all this kind of housing above the airport, very affordable. You have all of that. And then if you go to the south version, you have Englewood, which is popular because Venice is near it. Arguably the second cheapest on the Gulf Coast beyond Madeira Beach of beach proximity. And then you have Northport, which is the eastern neighbor of Venice, huge swath of land, very, very affordable. So all of that is just a very, very diverse lifestyle. And as expensive as it's gotten compared to like a Naples or West Palm Beach, kind of Millionaires Row or Miami, this area for the overall different ways you can live that lifestyle, I think unbelievably attractive. And last on the list, Sarasota, Florida's general pace of life. All right, and lastly, I just want to do an overall opinion-based pace of life. So I mentioned a bunch of times, but I've lived in like 9 cities in Florida. So I've seen like all these different versions of the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic Coast and the Panhandle. And I think when we moved back here in 2019, I think my perspective of like me liking the hustle bustle and looking for some sort of transient in between, Sarasota is a really nice fit. So first, just the general pleasantness of how it feels day to day. So if you've lived in a city where you commuted to work every day and you did all these things, and there's some nice things about cities that get everything first because they're bigger and they're by big metros, it is nice where every day you're kind of like, what is everybody doing, right? Like people are just walking the streets on Tuesday afternoon. It's not that many people. Downtown Sarasota feels unbelievably pleasant every single day. I think what it creates a lot of this is just commute traffic, especially. So I lived in Tampa Bay, greater area, St. Pete and Tampa for a long time. And when I was in economics, it worked out great. There's a lot of banks, there's a lot of financial organizations, but the pure fact of a city where everybody has to get somewhere at a certain time creates these crazy bottlenecks, right? So you have, regardless if you leave at 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 5 p.m., like everybody's trying to also beat the system. So basically it creates like the entire morning and the entire afternoon, there's accidents and there's no way to escape it, right? And to me, that wore me down. Like, just every single day is drum, 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 drum. Sarasota really avoids that. It's the same reason it's not the greatest town in the world if you need like 50 different jobs behind the one that if you want some options. But it doesn't feel like everyone's, even with the influx of snowbirds, it doesn't feel like everybody's trying to get to somewhere at the same time every day. I think that creates a ton of relief in how it generally feels every day, right? Even if there's a lot of people, if they're not trying to travel to a particular place in town, all those bottlenecks kind of go away. I think Sarasota is a real gem in that respect. Another, kind of lifestyle retirement related things, food scene. So the food scene here is quite attractive. The amount of like Zagat rated, top rated kind of restaurants and chefs in this little kind of bubble of downtown Sarasota and the beaches is quite high. You have bars with like well above average food. You have a ton of seafood options like Owen's Fish Camp and Duval's. You have high-end places like The Element, Boca, Hyde Park Steakhouse, one of the top-rated romantic restaurants in the country out at Anna Maria. You have waterfront, longboat, the beaches, and everything in between. So quite a nice food scene if that's kind of what you're into. And then obviously just kind of low-hanging fruit stuff, the variety of beaches, which I really like. If you're not you don't like the hustle and bustle of Siesta Key, you can head over to Lido. You can find little pockets that are more kid-friendly. You can go down to Venice with the dogs. You can go up to Anna Maria if you're looking for that kind of scene. So you got quite a bit of diversity there. And then finally, fishing-wise, the Barrier Islands, one of the cool things about, well, one where we're based in the country, but the Barrier Islands create this kind of bay, then beach. So you got, and then you have the river with the brackish entry into the Gulf. So the fishing scene's really good. The outdoor trail scene's really good. The biking scene's really good. So in general, I think if you had to pick one spot in the state, it's kind of hard to beat from that respect. Hey guys, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We're standing out here actually in front of the new office we just purchased, so we'll show you more of that in the future here. But if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe for me. It helps you kind of see the rest of our videos and everything we have going on in the sphere, and helps me know that you liked it. Please like the video, please share it, please comment if there's anything you're interested in. Please check out my description box below and the little arrow under the main video. I have a lot of free resources in there, and market guides and relocation guides and all that kind of thing. And finally, thank you so much for watching again. Really appreciate all of you, and we will see you on the next video.